Money. It's a force that shapes our lives in obvious and invisible ways. It buys us shelter, food, security, but also status, prestige, and often, our self-worth. Yet, if we turn to the ancient philosophers, from East and West, we find a profound warning: wealth is not the path to true contentment. Today, let's dive into how ancient thinkers taught us to find peace with money, without falling into the endless trap of greed. Let's start with the Stoics, philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. They taught that wealth is an indifferent, something neither good nor bad. It's neutral. What matters is how we relate to it. Seneca, one of the richest men in Rome, warned often about the dangers of loving money. He said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In other words, poverty is not about the size of your wallet, it's about the size of your desire. No amount of money can satisfy an unlimited craving. The Stoics practiced what they called voluntary poverty, not that they gave away all their money, but they practiced being comfortable with less. They would sleep on the floor, eat basic meals, and wear simple clothes, to remind themselves, "I can be happy without luxury. I control my needs, not the other way around." This is a powerful practice even today, learning that your happiness does not depend on the size of your bank account. Now, let's cross over to the East, to Confucius in China. Confucius taught that character is more important than wealth. The gentleman is aware of righteousness, the small man is aware of profit. To Confucius, chasing money for its own sake made you small, petty. True greatness came from pursuing virtue, from fulfilling your duty to family and society, not from filling your purse. Money was not evil, but letting it be your master was. Similarly, in ancient India, the Buddha gave profound insights about wealth and desire. He taught that craving is the root of suffering. Desire pulls us endlessly toward things we think will complete us: a better job, a bigger house, a fatter bank account. But once you get them, a new desire takes their place. The cycle never ends. Freedom, according to the Buddha, comes not from satisfying all your desires, but from mastering them, understanding them, and letting them go. And then there's Diogenes, the Greek cynic, who took the idea of simplicity to the extreme. Diogenes lived in a barrel. He owned almost nothing. When he saw a boy drinking water with his hands, Diogenes threw away his own cup, saying, "A child has beaten me in simplicity." He believed that happiness comes from being utterly free of need, that the more you need, the more you are enslaved. All these ancient voices, from different lands, speaking different languages, point toward the same truth: the pursuit of money for its own sake leads to emptiness. True contentment comes from needing less, not having more. Now, of course, we live in a world where money does matter. We cannot pretend it doesn't, but we can shift our mindset. Instead of thinking, "How can I get more?" we can ask, "How can I be content with enough?" Instead of measuring our worth by what we earn, we can measure it by how we live: our kindness, our wisdom, our courage, our joy. The ancients invite us to change our relationship with money, to see it not as a master, but as a servant, to focus not on growing endless wealth, but on cultivating a heart that feels rich, even with little. Seneca once said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." In other words, we fear death as if it could come tomorrow, and yet we desire wealth as if we'll live forever. Maybe the secret is to live simply, gratefully, wisely, to have money, but not let money have us, to find joy not in possessions, but in living well. That is the path the ancients laid before us. It's not an easy path, but it is a freeing one. And perhaps, it's the only real way to be truly rich.